Welcome back to Drunk Storytime with Quefish. Quefish, drunk, bitch bubbly. It's not that bad. Alright, so I'm actually going to read one of my own. And it reads like crack, but it's not. Okay, so this one is Enlightenment. As Crowley and Aziraphale settle into their new life in the South Downs, someone unexpected comes knocking. Aziraphale was sitting on the sofa, reading while Crowley sprawled in his throne, playing on his phone. Crowley turned his head, confused, and looked at Aziraphale. He could count on 2 fingers the number of people who should ever be at his home, and they were both already here. He shrugged and went back to matching up emojis. Aziraphale was about to get up, but returned to his book when he saw that Crowley had paused his game and was heading for the door, slipping his sunglasses on. He and Aziraphale had only moved to their little cottage a few months ago, and no one had ever knocked. He stretched out with his senses and decided there was nothing celestial on the other side. So he opened the door. He was greeted by a smiling family of 3, all dressed in their Sunday's second best. The father was holding a Bible with a smile. The mother was holding a small handbag with a smile. And the boy, who looked about 8 years old, held a reusable shopping bag with a smile. There was clearly nothing other about them, but Crowley was a bit unsettled anyway. Who walks around just smiling like that? Like bloody mannequins in a door display. Speaking of door display, none of them had moved or said anything yet. Hi. Hello, neighbor. The wife and I noticed you moved in a bit ago and wanted to come by to welcome you to the neighborhood. Dad had a voice like a car salesman. A good one, but still a bit cheesy and eager to please. Yes, indeed. But we know that it can take time to settle in and unpack. So we didn't just want to barge over right away, of course. Mom was just this side of way too perky, but not fake. She was genuinely just cheerful. Crowley groaned internally. He'd need to keep Aziraphale away from this one. They'd go down like a house on fire. Nope. Bad analogy. He shuddered and let his internal monologue try again. They'd get on like 2 things that got on well. Nailed it. He returned his attention to the family on his porch. We haven't seen you at church yet, but wanted to make sure we stopped by to invite you to stop in. We'd love to have you be part of our family. Dad smiled again, giving his Bible a little shake and squeeze. Well, damn. He and Aziraphale hadn't discussed this possibility, but in hindsight, it should have been obvious that it would happen eventually. His instinct was to do something terrifying to get them gone. But these people weren't jerks. They were sincere. And he could tell they were actually good people. However, more than that, this was his home. He and Aziraphale had chosen it, and it was where they wanted to be. So he restrained himself and thought fast. Oh, well, that's very considerate of you. He stumbled over the K word, but thought he recovered nicely. But, well, we're, bless it all, Crowley, think. We're actually Jewish. Crowley smiled, proud of himself. But then he was concerned when the adult smile got a bit brighter. Oh my goodness. From Mom's voice, you'd have thought this was the greatest day of her life. We simply love Jewish people. I mean, if you think about it, the biggest and really only difference is that while we pray to the same God, You really don't understand the importance and truth of Jesus. Dad smiled at her and gave a correcting sound. But I think our new friend here would pronounce that Yeshua, dear. Mom beamed back at him. Yes, of course. Yeshua. I'm so embarrassed. It's actually closer to Yeshua. She gave a small tittering laugh. Crowley decided not to correct their pronunciation, figuring it to be an exercise in futility. Meanwhile, Crowley noted out of the corner of his eye that the sun had neither moved or stopped smiling, still just looking up at him. If the demon were being honest, it was starting to creep him out. Crowley nodded politely and allowed them to tell him where to find their church. Then they looked down to their son, who stood up straighter, his smile proud, realizing it was time for him to do his part. He dipped his hand into the bag and Crowley tensed up. If they tried to hand him something actually blessed or holy, this visit was going to end badly. The boy's hand reemerged, holding the bottom of a light bulb. Oh, I should have gotten the light bulb. He reached out and handed it to Crowley, who took it, confused. Well, neighbor, even if you decide not to come out to the church, we'd still like you to have this light bulb. Dad looked at him with that car salesman smile. Mom picked up the second half of the sentence. Because Jesus is the light that shines on us all. If you're ever lost in the dark, you can count on him to be there when you decide to flip on the light. Or flip the switch of faith on, sorry. When it was said to me, it was flip on the light, but I liked the way it... Crowley nodded and said thank you, then watched as the family stepped off the porch and down the path, closing the little gate behind them before waving and calling goodbye. He went into the house, dazed, holding the light bulb carefully. Aziraphale looked up as the demon came back into the sitting room. Who was it, dear? And is that a light bulb? Crowley nodded. This is a holy light bulb of Jesus. He recounted the conversation to an increasingly amused Angel. Well, good it's not actually holy or blessed. That would have been an interesting moment to explain. Crowley nodded, still a bit stunned. So, what do we do with it? I really don't feel like we should put it in a lamp. Would we be able to withstand the power of a fully unleashed holy light bulb? Aziraphale chuckled. While the Almighty rarely makes house calls these days, I would find it difficult to believe she traded in burning bushes for lampcoat fixtures. Yeah, but if we're really trying to keep a low profile, I don't want to accidentally turn on the light bulb of God in my sitting room if it was blessed and somehow became a heavenly GPS or something. Aziraphale laughed again, standing to take the light bulb. He looked at it, felt about a bit. No, just a standard issue bulb, I'm afraid. So what should we do with it if you don't want to use it? Throw it out? No! What kind of terrible luck would that be, throwing out the holy light bulb of Jesus? We may never get Wi-Fi again. Or Chinese delivery would always be late or something. Crowley looked scandalized by the very thought of tempting fate by tossing it in the bin. No, we'll just have to keep it. Not use it, but we have to keep it somewhere safe. Aziraphale watched as Crowley hunted around the kitchen for something. He returned with a few supplies and gingerly took the light bulb back. We've got to make sure it doesn't break, and we can't lose it. The demon wrapped it in a paper towel and then in one of those plastic bags that always seemed to be around, despite never having taken groceries home in one. He took it to the hall closet and set it with the other light bulbs, the ones that would someday get used. Aziraphale continued to watch Crowley with a small smile. What? I don't want the Jesus bulb to be lonely. It needs its own kind. Crowley closed the closet and headed back to the sitting room, followed by a bemused Angel. He sprawled back into his throne and started playing on his phone again as Aziraphale headed back to the sofa and picked up his book. 5 years later. Oh, blast. Crowley, dear. What's up, Angel? Could you bring me a new light bulb, please? Aziraphale frowned at the burned-out bulb. Yep. Aziraphale heard Crowley rummaging in the hall closet before hearing a faint, almost reverent exclamation. Oh, shit. Is there a problem, dear? Yeah, I'll be back. Need to head to the shops to get one. There's only one left. Well, just bring that one before you leave, and I'll get this sorted while you're gone. No, Angel. You can't have it. It's the Jesus bulb. Crowley came around the corner with a serious look on his face, keys already in hand. Don't worry, won't take 20 minutes. Crowley, you're not seriously going to not use the bulb we already have. The demon spun on his heel and looked at the angel very seriously. No, the bulb is not to be touched, ever. Unless we are moving it out of the way to put more bulbs in the closet. But we never use it to replace a burnt bulb, all right? Aziraphale swallowed down his laugh and nodded solemnly. All right, my dear. Don't be long, then. Crowley's serious demeanor vanished into a loving smile as he leaned forward to kiss Aziraphale quickly. Back in a tick, Angel. Okay. Now, believe it or not, that's based on a true story. When I moved into my house, not this apartment, but the house that I was in before, about a few months after I moved in, I got the creepiest family. And it was just, vacant. Just completely brainwashed, vacant smiles. Children of the Corn blonde. Oh my God, it was terrifying. And sure enough, I still have it. I still have the Jesus bulb. Hang on a second. Okay, so I just went to my closet. This is the Jesus bulb. It has moved with me since, I'm going to say 2008, late 2007, early 2008, somewhere in there. It's the Jesus bulb, and it has moved with me. It has never been put in anything because while I do not believe that anything terrible would happen, I'm not taking a chance. So, the holy light bulb of Jesus, everybody. Oh my goodness. It was one of the weirdest experiences. I had just moved. It was the first time I had ever had my own house. And sure enough. So, based on a true story. Obviously not all of it is true. I would not have burst into flames. Nothing bad would have happened to me, but the basic story is true. Somebody handed me a light bulb and said that Jesus would be there if I ever wanted to turn on the light. So, thank you for joining me. Oh, and yes, I did actually have to go out in the middle of the night to a 24-hour Walmart one night because I didn't have bulbs and it was the only bulb in the house and there was no way I was going to put it in anything. So, yeah, that part's true too. I've actually done that probably twice, actually, now. So thank you for joining me on the journey of the Jesus bulb. See you next time.